typical day is probably get out of bed at 3 o'clock on a morning, come down here for 4. It takes us approximately an hour to get the salmon boat launched and off to the net, and then get everything ready to go with the cobble about 5 o'clock. And then we've got 300 pots to haul each day. Do 300 one day and then a different 300 the next day. Takes us on average about 5.5 hours to haul the 300, and then we come back, get the cobble pulled up back onto the Coble Landing, get the catch landed up to the merchants, and then take it in turns on the afternoon to go back to the salmon net, either afternoon or evening, whichever the tide is. So they're pretty long days in the summertime. We run it as a sort of a non-profit making society between us all. Call it the Filey Fishermen's Society. We all contribute so much per week to employ the tractor driver and run and maintain the tractors. It's getting a little bit harder now because we're only 4 boats. There's actually 4 full-time boats all year round. Probably about 2 seasonal ones, and then the salmon boats on top of that. A lot less than what they used to be 10 or 12, 15 years ago. It is actually a dying job, but as long as the EEC leave us alone, you know, we're still able to make a living, which is what we're here for. Only being a small beach cobble, you know, we tend to operate within about 5 miles of Filey, one way or the other, which is about as far as we need to go, really. Could go further, I suppose, but we've no need to. It's just what my family's always done. Going back generations, we've all been fishermen. There's me and my partner Neville. We've been working together now for 15 years or more. This is our second, this is our second boat that we've had together, but we've actually owned another 4 boats in that time. You know, we just own everything between us. It's 50-50 down the middle. We've had this one about 12 years, I think now. A beach cobble, about 30 feet in length, 80 horsepower engine. Sort of a workhorse really, but designed for operating from an open beach. This boat now, she's 24 years old. She was built at Whitby, Sands End, just outside Whitby. The propeller underneath is like housed in a bubble that's formed of the planks, and that enables the boat to sit flat on the beach without the propeller touching the rocks or sand. Makes it an ideal type of boat for working in very, very shallow water. And I think you can count on one hand where cobbles are still worked from the beach all year round as a commercial enterprise. This being one of them. Well, we literally start at the Brigg end, which is 5 minutes from the beach, probably in 8 to 10 feet of water, and then we work all the way off to sort of 4.5-5 miles, where it's 125, 130 feet deep, and anywhere in between that. The lobsters are just starting to come out now in good numbers, so we've really got to put the effort in at this time of year to catch as much as we can to sort of see us through the winter, because it's a very unpredictable job in the winter time. At the moment we're catching lobsters and sea trout and salmon, which is our sort of two main fishings. But it's a very short season, so you've got to do as much as you can. We have about nearly 600 in, and we're all 300 a day, and then the next day we all the other 300. A marker buoy at one end, the rope goes down to an anchor, and you have a length of rope to your first pot, which is 12 fathoms. A fathom is 6 feet, so you've got 12 fathom between each pot, and you've 20 pots in a length, and then an anchor at the other end and a buoy at that end. To all the fleet of pots, it takes us probably 12-14 minutes, then a couple of minutes to put them back in again. Quarter of an hour from start to finish. Much prefer to fish traditional long lines if we need to in the winter months, but that's very labour intensive with the baiting of the lines and scaling mussels and getting everything prepared. That in itself is a sort of a dying art. We haven't done it for about 8 or 9 years, I think now, simply because we can keep costs down by fishing for lobster in the winter when the price is high and the demand. You get paid twice as much for them in the winter as what you get paid for them now, simply because you don't catch so many in winter. Certain places that are better than others, but everybody knows where they are and everybody wants to be in the same place at the same time, so it does get a little bit congested at times. If you didn't help each other out in this job, it would be very difficult. So yeah, everybody works well together, more or less. 12 months of the year at it. Do lose quite a lot of time in the winter due to bad weather and not being able to get off the beach. That's why we sort of work 24/7 in summer, as it were. We tend to do fishings that only target the species that we're after. If our salmon net doesn't catch anything else apart from sea trout and salmon. Like the lobster pots, they'll only catch crabs and lobsters. Maybe the odd fish goes in them as well, but it isn't as if you're sacrificing anything else. It's not like trawling or beam trawling, which is very destructive, kills a lot of immature fish and things like that. We're very, very heavily policed on the size of lobsters and crabs. So anything that's undersized immediately goes back. And then we've got a size where we can land it, and anything above that is what we keep. So really we sort of farm in the stocks, maybe catch the same lobster 20 times until it's grown big enough, and then you can keep it then. These are the sizes that we use for lobsters, and that's 87 millimetres, and that's between the lobster's eyeball socket and the first joint on its back, and it's measured that way up. And the same for the crab. That's the crab size, and it's measured across the top of its shell to fit in there. Anything smaller than that just immediately gets returned to the sea. We get policed very heavily, actually. We've got the North Eastern Sea Fisheries Committee, which, they can board you at sea, or they can come on your boat once you get back on the beach, check all your stuff, measure everything, check your licences and all this. You've got the fisheries people from the Navy. Occasionally you get boarded. You have to fill in a catch return every day of the year, and send it off every month end, stating what you've caught, and if that doesn't tally up with what the fish merchant says you've landed, you know, if there's questions asked. So for a small industry, yeah, we're policed pretty heavily. Our biggest problem, it's not that there's the lack of stuff to be caught. Our biggest problem is red tape from, you know, the EEC and different government bodies, bylaws and all these licences and do's and don'ts. It just seems to get a bit more every year. More paperwork, more, you know, they just seem as if they're making it harder and harder for you to earn a living. If they just leave you alone to get on and do what you do, the job's okay, really. To be honest, as far as Filey's concerned, I think the boats that are here now, working full-time commercial, will be the last boats that are here, because there's no prospects for a young man to come into the job here. You can say it's slightly different at bigger ports like Bridlington and Scarborough, where the bigger boats and, you know, they work further afield. Probably got a little bit more scope than we have, but yeah, I do think, you know, I mean, Filey's dropped in number of boats over the last 20 years. You know, we're down to 4 now. Well, you know, 20 years ago there was 15. It's just natural wastage. You know, the older people have died out, and some of the younger ones have bought bigger boats and moved to Brigg or Scarborough, and the ones that are left here now are the people that will be here when Filey finishes as a fishing port. Well, it's coming on to the height of our season now, and we would expect to catch probably 120 maybe to 150 lobsters a day, but that doesn't last very long. It builds up to a peak and then it drops down, you know, towards the end of August, when things start to get back to normal, where it becomes quite hard to make a living again. Our catch goes up into Filey to the local fish merchant. Well, it's 2 different merchants actually. The lobsters go to a lobster merchant, and I think in the end of it, most of them get exported, probably to France and Spain. And the crabs get boiled in Filey and sold in Filey or sent away to be sold. Same with the sea trout. A good percentage of that is sold locally, and what isn't gets sent out to the different markets in, you know, Leeds, Doncaster, sort of places like that. It's been a pleasure to be at work, and we've had 75 kilos of lobsters, which was like 3.5 boxes of lobsters and 4 boxes of crabs. And no doubt by tea time tonight we'll have a couple of boxes of salmon as well, all being well.